Hi guys, how is everyone doing today? So, hopefully the live stream is working. Yay, it is. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about how to stay motivated when you have anxiety or depression, or how to get motivated. And this is something that a lot of you guys have talked to me about in direct messages, in comments. You guys have also mentioned this to me in person when I've seen some of you. By the way, this weekend I had my workshops, the Health and Healing Weekend Retreat, and it was kind of freaking incredible. I'm so super tired because I think I slept maybe 8 hours the entire weekend, but it was amazing. And the people that came, and if you guys are here, hi, was really, really incredible. And it could not have been more amazing. So thank you guys so much for supporting that. I can't believe it happened, and I'm so grateful about it. But anyways, and the reason I mentioned that is because quite a few people from the healing day, actually both days, told me in person that this is something that they really struggle with, which is finding the motivation when they are dealing with anxiety or they're going through depression and they don't know what to do about it. So, this is so funny. Nice Wolfie says, I'm going to go make no bake cookie dough balls. I'll be right back. That sounds amazing. I hope you bring some for everybody. Okay, so I'm going to break down today's live stream kind of into two parts. The first part, I'm going to be talking more about anxiety, and the second part, more about depression. And then in between, if you guys have any questions, leave it in the live chat and I'll answer those questions. And of course, always support one another and always share your strategies, because that would be so helpful for other people and it would be just amazing. Okay, so in terms of anxiety and how to stay motivated when you're anxious, that's really something that I still deal with, because I still get anxiety, especially having planned this Heart and Healing Weekend all the way up to it, especially the week and a half before. I had so much anxiety. I couldn't sleep. I was working my butt off and going to bed at maybe 4:30 in the morning, but not even able to fall asleep until about 6. And what I have to say about anytime you have anxiety, and also what is going on outside? Do you guys hear those cars? Anyways, what I say about that is you kind of have to run toward your anxiety. And I've talked about this before in previous live streams. Is when it comes to anxiety, you have to do it enough times so that you get used to the fact that it's not as scary as we've made it out in our heads. So with anxiety, it's when you are really living in a future moment. You're not being fully present in the current moment because you're thinking about something that hasn't happened yet and something that you feel like you have no control over. And what I like to, I guess, describe this kind of as, in simple terms, is that, you know, if we as humans are also animals, that means on a very animalistic level, we are always trying to survive. We're in survival mode. And unfortunately, because, you know, things in our day-to-day lives, even though we're domesticated, we deal with things that have to do with emotions, and emotions can almost feel like we're dying. So in the wild, if we're prey and we're being chased by a predator, we're instinctually going to have anxiety because we're going to try to survive. But there are things that happen in our lives that cause us trauma. So in any types of those situations that happen again that remind us of those things, our bodies react in a way with anxiety, whether it's, you know, a panic attack, whether it's adrenaline, whether it's overthinking, is because our bodies think we're going to die, like literally think we're going to die. And for instance, something happened to me over this weekend. I was in Rancho Palos Verdes for the Health and Healing Weekend, and we went for a drive, me and my two friends that helped me basically just make this incredible weekend happen. And we were driving through along the coast, and suddenly I had just incredible anxiety in my entire body. I just felt this rush of adrenaline, which I know feels like I'm about to have a panic attack. And I didn't know why. I was sitting in the car, and then we drove to the location where we were going to just go view this like really pretty space. And then afterwards we got back in the car, and then during that time I had been processing it, and I realized the reason I got anxiety was because it's almost 2.5 years ago, when my ex and I broke up, I ended up going for the very first time to Rancho Palos Verdes with one of my friends who drove that road. And during that time, all I felt was anxiety and sadness and depression, and my body remembered. Isn't that crazy? It's so crazy to me that is something that happens to us. So what I want to say about that is, when those things happen, you just recognize that it's happening and that it's okay, and like this is just your body reacting to protect you, and that's what anxiety is. So when it comes to motivation, when you have anxiety, I think the best thing that you can do is really just run towards it and keep going. And yes, it's really hard, and yes, you're gonna have panic attacks, and yes, you're gonna feel emotionally just like terrible, and you're going to want to get on the floor and start crying, and you feel crippled and all of those things, because I experienced that as well. But you have to keep going, and you have to keep running at it, because it's that animal instinct of thinking that you're going to die, of thinking that your body and your life is going to be over, when it's really not, because we're going through life and emotions make us feel that way. It's not that we're actually going to die, but our bodies think we are because of the reactions that we're having from our emotions. So when it really gets tough, like when I have moments where I'm just like, okay, I'm really not motivated to do anything because I'm so anxious, I don't know what to do, I find that the best thing to do is write down a to-do list of everything I need to do, instead of putting it off, because if I keep putting it off, it'll just cause my anxiety to be worse. So honestly, best advice is just run toward it, do it. And when you do it enough times, it doesn't have that weight over you anymore. It no longer becomes this crippling thing. For me, I used to have it so bad, and it used to get so severe, and sometimes it will still kick up depending on the situation, because it's not something that suddenly is just like over for the rest of your life. There are people out there that may not even realize they have anxiety. I definitely didn't realize it for pretty much my entire life, because mine shows up not so much physically, although it does show up physically now, but in overthinking. And I just like think in these like loops over and over and over. Writing helps if that is something that you deal with, of thinking in loops. But with that motivation, just basically keep going, keep running towards it, keep doing all the things that you need to do, and understand that even though it's there, doesn't mean that you can't accomplish your goals, and doesn't mean that you can't live out your dreams. It's just something that I find that once I've accepted is a part of my life, and over time dealing with it over and over and over, I just understand that I keep going, I can keep doing it. And you know, I had so much anxiety leading up to this weekend. I had no idea how it was going to go. I didn't know if anybody was going to show up. It was 3 months of really intense planning, and I just had no idea. And I don't want to be a person that shows you guys just the pretty perfect part of everything, because I don't believe that it's ever completely easy. And if it is easy for other people, then you're not learning, and you're not living, and you're not growing. And what's the point of that? Like, what's the point in having a life where you're not learning anything, where you're not experiencing new things and pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone? You can always stay in the same place and do the same things, but I think by the time, you know, you're old and you're gray, you're going to look back on your life and be like, wow, did I really even do anything? And I just don't want to encourage anybody to do stuff like that, because I think that failing is really, really awesome. I think that when you continuously fail, it's great, because it means you're constantly challenging yourself. And that's the kind of live and learn army I want to create. Is just, you know, this community that we've already built is constantly just fighting through these things that we go through in life, and continuously being like, hey, you know what? It's okay that I'm feeling this way, because it doesn't mean that I can't live out my dreams. It doesn't mean that I can't do the things that I want to do in life just because I deal with anxiety, or just because I deal with depression. So on the topic of depression, it's very similar, I would say, to anxiety, but also there are things that I do differently when I deal with depression versus anxiety. And I do want to kind of talk a little bit about what's going on in the live chat, because I think that's always important. And I also want to know, for those of you who are here, how many of you guys have actually dealt with anxiety? That would be great to know, and to know that you're not alone. So I think that's really important. Okay. Hi, Jackie. So Jackie's my best friend, and she helped with so much of this weekend and making things happen. She did all the floral arrangements, all the calligraphy. If you guys have any type of events that you need calligraphy for, you should go to her. Her Instagram is @JackieChenDesign. It's amazing. Shanna Lee said self-care is so important, especially before you have difficult moments. My experience is that self-care makes getting through them so much easier. I agree. I think anytime you're dealing with anxiety or with depression, one of the best things to do is to look inward instead of outward for anything, because it's really important that you really check in with yourself when it comes to dealing with any type of mental struggles, because at the end of the day, really, it's about what's going on in your mind, and no one else can experience that except for you. And I'm sure all of us experience anxiety and experience depression on way different levels and in way different ways. It's not always going to be the same. And that's totally okay. It doesn't mean that, you know, one is easier or harder than the other. It just means that we experience things differently. And on the topic of depression and how to stay motivated when you're in depression, this is my best advice, and I believe it works every single time. And it is actually probably, honestly, I think most people won't do it, but it works. And it is to just do instead of waiting for the motivation to come. That is literally it. Because honestly, and this is going to be some tough love, you guys. I don't really give you guys tough love much, but I'm going to give you guys some tough love today. When it comes to depression, it's actually easier to be like, woe is me, and cry and be on the floor and just be like, life sucks and I hate life, and stay in that misery. That is actually a lot easier than forcing yourself to go out there and live your life, because at least that makes you feel comfortable. Laying on your couch and crying, which I've done just so often when I was dealing with severe depression, pretty much every day for like 2 to 3 months. And there are still times where I do it. But honestly, like, that is actually the easy route. That really is the easy route, because it's you giving into all of those emotions and being like, I'm just going to stay here in this space. And I'm not saying this in a way where it's like you're never allowed to be sad and you're never allowed to experience those things. I'm a firm believer that you should feel through all of your emotions. But I'm also a firm believer that you do not keep yourself there. Because if you are someone that's like, I'm not motivated, I'm not motivated, I'm not motivated, I can't do anything, I'm not motivated, I don't want to do anything, life sucks, and all of that, you have to go and do. And there is nothing anyone else can do for you that is going to change that, because you're not magically going to get the motivation. It's not magically going to come someday. It's by doing, and it's by building a life that you are really going to love and that you're going to enjoy. And it doesn't mean that it's perfect every day. It doesn't mean that you're not going to deal with depression. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have self-doubt. It just means that you need to go and do first. And even especially when you don't want to, you have to do it anyway. And you kind of, I think in a way, have to feel out the emotions, but at the same time understand that the emotions are not everything. That you do need to experience and feel through your entire body, and that those emotions are all completely valid. But staying in a cycle of thinking where you are constantly telling yourself that you're not good enough and you can't do anything and all of that is not going to help you get out and get you motivated to do anything. It's consistently doing that causes you to get out of it. So you have to do first before the motivation comes. And I know it seems backwards, and I know it's not easy, but it's what you have to do, and then you get better at it. And I think my number one piece of advice when it comes to any of this, anxiety, depression, anything at all, the one thing that you have to go out there and do for yourself above all else to get you through it and to get you motivated is that you need to have people in your life that understand, people that are going to support you, people that you can talk about with these things with. And you know, this is one of the reasons why I created Live and Learn Army, and why you guys are a part of it, is because you guys do understand, and you guys are those people. And even if you don't have those people in your life just yet, I want you to know that you can find them. And I talk about this a lot. I didn't have friends, you know, 2 years ago. Like, I had no friends. I had no friends. And now I have amazing people in my life that support what I do. And so you need to spend your life relentlessly seeking those people that are going to support you in your endeavors and support your dreams and support your goals and love you unconditionally and treat you with kindness and be as good to you as you are to them, because that's what's important. And that's what's going to keep you from, you know, going into that deep, dark place again. It's going to keep you from going into those places of like struggle, of like, it's not fun to talk about, but suicide, you know, all of those things. And they're going to help you get through anxiety. They're going to be there to be your rock and have somebody to call. And if you don't have that yet, it's okay too, because you can find them and you spend your life finding more and more of them. And I think that's what is really my biggest thing that I want you guys to take away from this, because honestly, I did not know that I could even ever have that in my life, and I have that now. So I want you guys to know that like everything that I'm talking about, I've seen happen firsthand from my experiences and from my life, so I know that you can do it too. And it doesn't mean that it's always easy, because a lot of times it's not easy at all. It's really, really hard. But at the same time, if you never try, how are you going to know? How are you going to be able to find those people if you don't put yourself out there and you don't do all these things for yourself? Because you deserve it, and you need to find people who see that in you, who see how much of a beautiful, magical unicorn you are, because you are one of those. And you, when you find each other, it's kind of just like this crazy spark of incredible magic. One of the other people, Shanae, who I can't even say more amazing things about. I've known her for like 3 months, and she helped me make this incredible health and healing weekend happen. And I, you know, when you meet the right people, like it's honestly, it's just magic, and it can happen, and it's just so incredible. And my other friend, who I've only met once, Marie, she's moving down from San Francisco in February, and she told her family already that she's like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be fine because I have Olivia there. And we've only met once, but that one instant day was just so incredible. She supported me in doing something that was really hard for me to do, something that I needed to do for myself, that was dealing with a very traumatic experience that I went through. And that was the first day that I met her, and she was there for me, and we've been FaceTiming, and we've been really just connecting with each other, and it's magic. And I want you guys to know that these people exist, and you can find them, and especially because you guys are them too, it's going to be so much easier to find them. And you just really have to get outside of your comfort zone and do it. You have to get out there and put yourself out there and really, really just find these people, because that's what's going to change your life. People are going to change your life, and you can be one of those people for other people, and you seek those people that do the same thing. So if you guys do want more tips and you don't know where to find these people, my last live stream from last week is 10 ways to make new friends. And I talk about all of the ways that I did it and how I found the people who are now currently in my life. And it's honestly been just so incredible. And I do want to say that what is going to be really important is when you have those moments of epic self-doubt, because me planning these workshop weekends that happened this last weekend, which I can't even explain like how amazing it was. It was so amazing. Like, I didn't even know it could be that amazing. But I had so many days and so many moments of just utter self-doubt where I would just be like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? And I have those moments, and I want to share that with you guys, because I want you guys to know that it's real, and that you can freaking have this amazing, successful event while still dealing with depression and still dealing with anxiety that creeps in on you at times. Because you can live out your dreams. You can have all the things that you want in life and achieve all of your goals, and still have moments of self-doubt, and still have moments where you beat yourself up. Because you know what? It's not perfect, life is not perfect. You don't have to be emotionally okay all the time. You don't have to feel like every single moment of your life you have to be happy, because you don't. We all go through shit. Shit happens, and that's totally okay. So I really want you guys to know that, and I really want you guys to remember that when you are trying to chase after your dreams and when things get hard and you feel like you're freaking failing, it's fine. It's perfectly fine, because that's just a part of it. And when you start accepting that that's a part of it, it doesn't mean that it gets any easier when you're going through it. It's still going to be really hard to deal with it, especially if you're getting crippling anxiety, especially if you're dealing with moments of just feeling like your life is over and you have no idea what you're doing because you're not going to achieve the goals and everything that you wanted to do. But you know what? You are. You're going to be successful. You just got to keep pushing yourself through it, and you got to keep going. In those moments of weakness, you can experience those moments, but you have to keep going. And I think about, you know, even just, wow, like 4 days ago, I had moments of just epic self-doubt, and I had to call my friends. Jackie was one of them that got me through it. My other friend, Brian, who did the music therapy section at my retreat, he also helped me through it. And just many other people who just helped me through this stuff. If I didn't have those people and those moments and I just gave up, I would have never had this incredible experience to give to other people for a health and healing weekend, to help other people, because there are people that came and the feedback has been so incredible that I can't even put it into words. People told me that it changed their life, and like, that's just so incredible that you want to put some good into the world and people come and tell you that they changed your life. For me, if it was just one person, it's already amazing, but it was pretty much every single person. And if you guys want to see some pictures, you guys can look at the hashtag Live and Learn Army. And this actually brings me to the point of our weekly Live and Learn Army hashtag. So every week I'm going to be showing one of my favorite Live and Learn Army posts, and this is my favorite one from this week. And if you guys just use the hashtag, you'll be able to see it. Let's see, where did it go? Here we go. This is one of my favorites, just because this was the goodie bag, and she actually won the juicer, and she was somebody who came to the Health and Healing Weekend after she had seen me in person before but didn't say hi, and she actually expressed to me some of the stuff that she'd been going through in life, and it was really incredible. And she kind of motivated this live stream today, where we were talking about motivation and dealing with tough stuff that happens in life. And all the people that came really motivated me to make this live stream, because getting a text, sorry about that, because everybody told me that they deal with these things, and that it was amazing to be somewhere where people can openly talk about it and be so real and genuine and share with one another about these topics. And of course, I have, I guess, another takeaway, another lesson for the week. I guess your goal of the week this week. What I want you guys to do this week is to do one thing that really, really makes you uncomfortable or scares you, or that you're afraid of. Something that has to deal with any type of anxiety that you have, or any type of depression that you have. Maybe it's, you know, you get anxiety about public speaking, and then now you go and do something that has to do with public speaking. Or maybe it's like, you know, you get depression and you don't want to go to the gym, and you just force yourself to go to the gym one day. Whatever that is, I want you guys to do this week, and then of course use the hashtag Live and Learn Army this entire week, and every week I will be sharing my favorites. So if you guys like this live stream, you know what to do. Thumbs up the video. And also, if you guys want to support my channel, there is t-shirts that you guys can buy and support this channel. It helps fund this channel and support all the things that I am doing in life and trying to do in terms of, you know, helping and healing people. So I'm actually going to head off to yoga now, and next week we're going to do another live stream, which I'm really excited about. And if you guys ever have any live stream topics, let me know. But that is it for this week. I know I'm like pretty tired, so I'm going to go do yoga and then probably go to bed early. But thank you guys so much for joining me. I love you guys so much. Live and Learn Army. You guys are amazing. And I did vlog Friday, so I have the vlog footage that I will be putting up for you guys this Thursday. I think I'm going to do vlogs every other Thursday because every Thursday is a little too intense for me with all the stuff going on. And then I have like 3 different trips coming up in August. So it's going to be amazing, but I need a little bit of a breather from life. So I love you guys, and I will talk to you guys next week at 5 p.m. on Monday. Okay, bye, Live and Learn Army. I love you guys so much. Mwah.